What's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of the Riccardo Baleia podcast. This is episode 7. And before we get to today's guest, I just want to give you a quick little reminder. If you can click the like and subscribe to my channel, I'm going to have a lot more podcasts, jiu-jitsu classic matches, breakdowns, and a whole lot more coming to the channel. So a lot more content. Like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And let's get right to it. Today, a very special, guest, somebody I've known quite a long time. A guy that's, competed at the highest level, gi, no gi, MMA, 3-time world jiu-jitsu champion, fought in every sort of grappling competition there is. Mr. Vitor Shaolin Ribeiro. Shaolin, how are you doing, my friend?
Good, Ricardo. Doing well. Thank you.
So, like I said, we've known each other for a while. I think we met
Yes.
back in 2002. You came to Canada, taught some seminars. And it's always been nice to see you, your career in jiu-jitsu, then MMA, and then just kind of reaching the highest levels. Now you're academy owner, so we can't really move too much forward, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. But as an academy owner now, how are things for you, dealing with this situation with the coronavirus and everything? Obviously, we chatted a little bit before we started. It kind of, very unexpected. But how's things going for you, your academy, your family? What's going on in New York for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was something I never experienced before. Pretty much I think almost nobody was very prepared for that. Definitely, I think some people, they already have some online videos, or they're a little bit more online than some other people. They have maybe a little bit better, a little bit better path to follow. But I think for me, I was a guy more hands-on, and I didn't have nothing ready or prepare online. So give me like a no chance to really have something already established for my students. So now I'm trying to do some, live classes and then some things just to try keep myself busy, to try, continue connect with my students, to making sure they continue to learn somehow. Definitely is not going to be the easiest thing, because some people living by themselves, some people they have kids really young, some kids they don't have brothers. All right. But I think for me right now, I'm thinking about, learning a lot from that situation. Definitely, I think during that situation, after the situation, we're gonna be taking a lot, me from that coronavirus. And then I just hope like we, whatever happened, money wise, and I want to making sure the people around me and the people I know and the people I don't know, stay healthy. I think some people dealing thinking like it would be just a simple thing. Looks like hitting some people very, very hard. And I just pray to making sure people stay healthy and do what people say to do: stay home and do your best.
Gotcha. And in situations like this in life, I think, in some ways, I think some people think more than others, but I think in some ways it reflects, jujitsu in a way. We get faced with a adversity, with a challenge in our life, just like on the mat, and we have to kind of adapt and evolve. And I think that the world and the jujitsu community, especially, is learning how to evolve in this, kind of crisis that we're in right now. And like you said, it's time we got to step up with some online stuff or whatever the case may be. But much like jiu-jitsu, we got to do what it takes to learn and move on. So you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like I said, I don't want to spend too much talking about the virus situation. As long as I know you're doing good and your family's good, I'm happy about that. One of the things I've been doing on my podcast is really talking to the legends of the sport. I'm really trying to reach out to a lot of my old friends in jiu-jitsu, and just, kind of getting them to talk about their story and how they, how they started jiu-jitsu, their career. I want to kind of go through some of that today. So, you started, Nova Uniao black belt, one of the greatest, lighter weight competitors of Team Nova Uniao. That you guys had a killer team back in the day. Tell everyone at home how you kind of got started in jiu-jitsu and your path to black belt and how that all came about.
Yeah, I think back in Brazil, everybody get used to play what, soccer, and then we used to go to a place where I used to play soccer, swimming, volleyball, a lot of different sports in the same place, like a YMCA. And then we go over there Monday through Friday and play a lot of different things. At some point, I start getting a little bit bigger. And then I get into judo, Muay Thai. And then I think I spent enough time in Muay Thai, but in some point I was missing something. I think I was missing the live part. And then I think back then, just to do some sparring Muay Thai, you have to be higher belts, a lot of condition. It was a great time. It was a great thing for a little while, but in some point I was missing something. But in the middle of all that, I ended up getting a fight in the street. And then that fight made me realize I didn't know nothing on the ground because I was learning some kicks, some punches. And then at some point, that kid, a little bit bigger than me, took me down, mount on me, headbutt, me, really, really kicked my ass. And then I realized I have to learn something. This is around 93, around the same year, I believe Royce already make a lot of noise over here. And then I used to live in Flamengo. Flamengo is a neighborhood in Rio, very popular, a lot of, I believe Grace family has a little history in that neighborhood. Not just Grace family, but other people from different martial arts have a history there too. And in some point, one of my friends showed me, if you want to train jiu-jitsu, you have to go to that place. And then he just took me to Andrea. But when I arrived there, Andrea used to be young, 26 years old. And then when I arrived there, I didn't have a lot of attention from a lot of people, but I was enjoying training. And at some point, I was just enjoying, just training here, training there, until in some point I caught some people attention because I'm young, spend a lot of hours there, good endurance, start connecting positions. And then at some point I start feeling very welcome by some of the adults, start making a better friendship with the there. And then got invited to do my first competition, got second place, but really liked the vibe. And then at some point become very natural for me, doing, 2 classes a day and doing this competition and doing that competition. And then I'm start getting a little bit more popular in my neighborhood. I'm start getting people more popular in a couple other neighborhoods. Some people from some other places start know me, start getting my first sponsor to travel to the first Pan Am in 1995. Some things start getting very, natural. Like I know this guy, connect with that guy, train with this guy, you know what I mean? And then it's just and then it's just school all the way to 12, and then jiu-jitsu from 3 to 9 p.m. When I don't train, I hang out with them, learn something from them. And then the all adults, I'm the teenager, hang out with the adults. I feel like, I'm so good to hang out with people bigger than me. But that's pretty much how we start everything. And then I create that passion for training. And then I believe some things I have to do for myself because I have to do something extra different than, just going to the training and train, but, do sit-ups outside or do some more pull-ups. So the time I was spending by myself, I was looking for some type of thing to get a more strength or to get a better condition. And then I kind of quit different sports and then just spending time doing jiu-jitsu. So I'm in the gym, I'm in the school, or doing some exercise outside in the park. And then at some point just became more professional when I met Paulo Caruso, Pimentel, and a couple other instructors like Luis Alves, Claudio Coelho. But and then, and then evolving for MMA. But the jiu-jitsu time was, the way it start very simple. Now, with the idea, maybe some kids they have today, to become the next André Galvão or the next, Rafael Mendes, you know what I mean? I didn't have those idols back then. I want to train and hang out with the adults. I want to train. I want to do a little bit better against this guy. You know what I mean? It's all very local because we didn't have nothing big. So I compete the first Pan Am, the first national, the first world championship. We didn't have federation. You know what I mean? And Carlin wasn't working the way he's working today. So that's the reason. When everything start become a little bit bigger, and then I start feeling, whoa, we start having now a channel on TV. Oh, we start having a magazine, and then you fighting to win a tournament to be in that magazine, and that magazine was the way to you promote yourself, to get a sponsorship, to go to California. And then sometimes you have to have the look, you have to have the jiu-jitsu, you have to connect with people. But in my first few years was so natural. I didn't push at all. My parents didn't push me at all. And I think that's helped me a lot to evolve too, because I did it because I want to do, because not because I almost feel like that's the way I want to be making life. No, I didn't think that way. Today, yeah, some kids, okay, I want to make money with jiu-jitsu, I want to do this. Like back then, nobody had that thought, you know what I mean? Everybody's fighting to pretty much like protect the jiu-jitsu legacy, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when you go against another school, you try to protect your coach's name, because back then it was almost like a little gangs, you know what I
Gang. Yeah.
mean? So Gracie, and then
Yeah.
and that's the reason we didn't have no friendship. You hang out with your guys, you hang out with other guys. Maybe one another person, you know what I mean? You have connection with every gym, but it's very rare, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
most of the people always hang out with your people, your neighborhood. And then I think it was a type of feeling, maybe when you're thinking today, wow, this is weird, because today I have so many friends in different schools. But all those feelings and all those thoughts, I think was important for each generation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now we have a generation where you can imagine not being a friend with this guy or that guy after fight.
Yeah.
But it's okay to doing this now. Over there, we just have, few different people fighting to establish jiu-jitsu name, to making jiu-jitsu like the best martial art. You know what I mean? Like so we I still getting a little bit of that, because I came a little bit after.
Hmm.
And I think I feel very blessed to start jiu-jitsu around that time, because gave me a chance to feel that feeling, and now experience a different movement now, a different way to teach it, to learn, to do different things related to jiu-jitsu.
It's funny you're talking about this, and something really stood out in my mind is where you said you didn't really have any idols because there was none at the time. You were amongst one of the first of the high level competitors in the late 90s. So you didn't really have anyone prior to you that you could say, from Nova Uniao was like a high level guy in your division or somebody like that. So, Leo Vieira said to me, whenever you got to pave the way in anything you do in life, it's always going to be tough. So, thinking about that now, what a difference, the generations, we have the access to social media, the internet on our hand, whereas you didn't have anything. There was probably, VHS tapes were probably even tough to find at that time. So it's a huge difference. Talking about that time when you were training though, the Nova Uniao team was regarded as having one of the best lightweight black belt teams ever. Guys like yourself, Leo Santos, Robinho, there's tons of guys there. What was it about, your squad that kind of made you guys so special? Specifically, when I think of Nova Uniao, I always think of lightweights and awesome sweeps. So what was it about your team? Am I wrong there? You kind of
No,
smirking. Yeah.
no,
But
it's
like,
just I think it's funny you say that, because
yeah.
my coach, my coach is a black belt in judo, and I sometimes I keep thinking like why we would play good in the bottom. I think most of the times because it was so hard to take him down. You know what I mean?
Ah.
And then we have to play ground, we have to play bottom with him. But I believe like even before my coach get together with Wendell Alexander, like even
Uh-huh.
during the time he was just Andre Pedernera, we already have a very good group of people. All right. And then
Mm-hmm.
my coach was that kind of like a special person. And then I even can put some other people on that level too, like Dede, Renzo, Liborio.
Yeah.
Some guys, they have that special thing where people want to be close to them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
People wanna just to be close, to share a time or to hear some stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some people, they have that special, it's a special touch, and then I believe like probably have much more there, but like those three guys I have access, like I can see, how the students talk about them. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
for me, I think even the day, I think he's able to bring that energy, like that vibe about almost to be an older brother. You know what I mean? An older brother, he give you the limit. He let you free to develop your creativity, but at the same time, he's not worried to like last him if he say, hey, you're doing this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the end of the day, how much he likes you, and then whatever he's doing to to make you grow. And I think like everyone, older people than him, but younger people than him, that they always have the wise words. And there is not a big speech guy. He's not a
No,
guy,
soft
you know what I
spoken
mean?
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking to 100 people. No, he's a guy to talk face to face, to talk
Yeah.
like the truth, to listen when he's wrong. You know what I mean? Like he have a very special thing in his thought, in the way his behavior is very special. And I think he brought this for the students,
Hmm.
making people believe and develop, and then feel good to be surrounding him, to stay, with him. So when I started jiu-jitsu, we have a lot of college guys, and then I spent 14. I spent time with those guys, and it was good because it was fun, was serious, was hard, was different feelings. I learned a lot of different things about everything, about work, about first girlfriend, about everything. And I think it's such a special place. And then when André get together with Wendell, I think it brought that like those all those teenagers and young kids, so so technical, so flexible, so smart for jiu-jitsu. And then when he put it all everything together, it's just like going to a school where, you know what I mean, people have a different game, but whatever, when you train there for a month, 2 months, you're going to be ready for everything because you have guys taking down people well, passing well, half guard well. And then everything get developed there. You know what I mean? We have like a Wendell. He's almost like a magic guy with techniques. Like he pull things. You can
Hmm.
imagine. You know what I mean? Andre, he's less this way, but he's so good about breaking down things, about find ways to something the guy's doing against you not working, making believe if you do go into that path gonna work. And then when those two heads get together, and then all the students like really like to be under both and respect each other, man, it was such a big thing, such a big engineer, you know what I mean, to working together. And then I think it just was easy for
Yeah.
people get good and win, because the amount of people we have over there without making any strength, you know what I mean. We just need to get together and train, because sometimes we even don't need the extra technique or extra drill or extra anything. We just need, to roll, to exercise that sweep or that pass, and something happened after the training, you talk about it. I remember days where you would spend almost like hour and a half just breaking down something, you know what I mean? Just cool down and stop sweating, because that's all we want to do. We just want to
Yeah.
stay the whole day doing jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
today you see so many people doing this for a living, but we doing that, what they doing now is one thing. But doing that back then is like people look at us, hey, you're not gonna get a job, you're not gonna be doing something with your life. But some people did believe, like a Carlinhos Gracie and a couple other people did believe this gonna become something bigger. So we have to prepare yourself for that. And
Yeah.
that's what a lot of instructors did back then. They did believe and they paved. You know what I mean? They didn't care if somebody say, "Oh, this is not a job," "Oh, you a pitch boy," "Oh, you this, you that." They really believe what they're doing is right. And then at some point, if you believe and if you do with love, you're gonna get paid for that. And then you're gonna get something back for that. And I think that's why all they did, like Zemario, Murillo, Liborio,
Hmm.
Renzo, everybody,
Hmm.
all those guys, we own so much for them, because they came in for the jiu-jitsu during a time was very important, having solid people there. Because without those guys, sorry, all those young kids, all those world champions we have today, it'd be tough for them really having something with such a big entry on everywhere. All
Hmm.
right, without them.
So they created a really good synergy, bringing together a lot of young guys, bringing together two groups. And yeah, I get what you're saying there. Talking about, you mentioned it really briefly, how you developed your own style and tried new things. One of the things that I always thought that stood out for, me watching you compete was your wrestling. And I feel like you were one of the early guys or one of the first black belts of that generation to really take wrestling to like the next level, to use it for jiu-jitsu, then obviously MMA. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like what made you get into starting to really, become a better wrestler for jiu-jitsu and start to incorporate it? Because back in the day, like, I remember it was like just the Bayana, you know what I mean? Like one takedown,
Yeah.
but when we saw you compete, no, like you had some really nice duck unders, some beautiful double A combinations. You took the wrestling game to a whole new level. Was it something that, Dede and Wendell, influenced you with, or was it due to competition? Was it a rival? Can you talk a little bit about that? How you developed your wrestling?
Yeah, I believe everything start when, now remember, my first competition no gi was after I had like a 4 years in my black belt. Remember back then, no gi wasn't such a popular thing.
No.
But I believe when the no gi events start in the United States, I think everybody start getting a little bit more interesting about, hey, what's going on there. And then people start find out the importance of taking people down, because the rules said sometimes if you take him down and get on top, maybe going to be hard to put a sweep together, or maybe to do this or to do that. And that's the time where I start training at Gama Filho. All right, Gama Filho is to have a wrestling program there where they compete. And I think around that time, I think I was, I compete like a national events. I traveled twice for Pan Am events, just wrestling events. And I think it gave me a huge understanding about my potential stand up. And then when I start understanding how connecting this with Gui, I believe it helped me a lot against Leozinho, against Feitosa, against some really, really tough opponents, because I always a guy, I rather play bottom than top.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So even if I took down a lot of people, maybe I took it down like because the strategy asked for that. But a lot of times I felt very comfortable with my guard. You know what I mean? It's something like I always believe I had the guard enough good to sweep you, or do whatever I need to do to reversal. And then, but I think the wrestling, I think around 99, 98, 99, I think was a very important thing, because I started competing Pro Am, the Abu Dhabi events, and a couple other things like the Arnold Classic, where the wrestling really helped. So start the Gama Filho first, start connecting a little bit, start understanding the potential techniques I can really use in Jiu-Jitsu. After that, when Vitor Belfort, together with another guy, I believe they brought a guy named Dario Gola, all
Yeah.
right, to start teaching at the Carlinhos Araújo house, the MMA team. Another thing helped me a lot to improve my game as well. And but back then I was almost in the end of my jiu-jitsu career, moving almost to MMA. So I think it was those two guys. I think Gama Filho and Daryl really helped me, to mold my wrestling game into jiu-jitsu. And definitely today I'm still believe was such an important thing. Any guy have a chance to practice wrestling, all right, after you understand your jiu-jitsu game and then add wrestling on your game. I think it give you a huge contribution for your scramble, all right, for situations sometimes you don't see in jiu-jitsu, but in wrestling, the wrestling is so cool because can make you figure out a lot of stuff. Like it can make you know more your body, it can make you practicing things. Sometimes people in jiu-jitsu, they're not so used to jiu-jitsu people, they still complain sometimes against wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I believe like having a wrestling in my school, all right, to train, I think is such an important thing, because help me to see things sometimes a jiu-jitsu guy never gonna give to me.
Mm-hmm.
The scramble a wrestler give to me, the way I have to hold or control. If I'm not having a wrestler very often to train, sometimes make me used to just a certain type of game. A wrestler sometimes open my mind to certain things I'm not supposed to do, certain things I have to do. I think is a huge game to add in the jiu-jitsu game.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about your guard in '99 specifically. You pulled off what everyone calls the Shaolin Sweep
Yeah.
against Feitosa in the finals, and I have a little clip, and I think I did a little breakdown of that. But how did you develop the Shaolin Sweep? I know you did it before that in the team championship in '98, I believe, against Leandro Niza, if I'm not
No, no,
mistaken.
no. I did
No,
against
it's
Zacharias.
Zacharias. That's right.
Zacharias. Yeah.
So I saw you pull it off. You tried it a couple times and got it beautifully in that match. And then against Feitosa, you did it, and it was the one that won the match there. What was that, a sweep that was something that you developed yourself? Somebody show it to you, or is it something that you kind of developed? You know, you mentioned you've fought against Feitosa a few times. Was that something
Yeah.
that kind of came from there? How did you develop that sweep?
Yeah, I believe like everything I ever try in school, ever try in a tournament was a combination of, something my coaches taught me. All right, maybe not always my coach, maybe a higher belt. I can't tell to you exactly who taught me. I don't remember, but definitely was something inside the gym where I start practice, and then I always play. Today they call Zigar, but I always play that type of half. And some point you want to really, capitalize all the potential chances, not just a collar drag, arm drag, but all the potential sweeps you can do from there too. And then at
Mm-hmm.
some point, I believe somebody showed to me, I able to invert well and then connect. And then by the time the opponent like a lean to try block some other sweep, he gave you the perfect time. But I believe everything I learned was things, thank you God, we practiced in the school. And then I don't know if it was the day or if it was a higher belt. So we always had people, I always had people higher belt than me, João Roque and a couple other guys able to show me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then but I can't remember exactly who showed to me, but definitely something at the gym. And then I think when I connect, I just start practice, you know what I mean? And then by the time you need, you're able to pull it off, and then using against one of your opponents.
Was the match against Zacharias, like when you were able to execute it against him? Was that, kind of like, did that give you the confidence to be able to do it in Feitosa? Like, was it something that you already developed before that, or you know?
I think every time when I need confidence for something, normally I build the confidence at the training. You know what I mean? When
Mhm.
I sometimes you can have much more tough opponents at the gym than you're gonna
Yeah.
have in a tournament. You know what I mean? So you're probably gonna have people you train and say, man, if I train well against this guy today, I'm probably gonna be ready for everything. You know what I mean? So I still not in a good shape. So my training today against that guy wasn't good. So I had people, you know what I mean, in my gym. I can't really thinking about people who are gonna compete. Okay,
Yeah.
this guy, I never make a monster. Or sometimes I see people say, "Whoa, I'm gonna fight against that world champion." Man, look, he fought. He's world champion, but he never fought against you. So
Mm.
he's not your reality yet. So the
Yeah.
best thing you can do is train, and then making sure you train well for everybody here. By the time you feel well, comfortable, and confident, you know what I mean? Let's go see what's gonna happen in the tournament. You can't start right now thinking about your opponent and then right now not perform well, because you have to perform well here to build your confidence, to making sure when you get there, you say, no, that guy was world champion, but I'm doing so well at the
Yeah.
gym and I feel so strong. Let me do my best. So I think I never thought like it's different when you already compete, like against Leozinho, was a pure strategy. The
Hmm.
fight I beat him in 2000, it's pure strategy. Exactly. It was like what I playing. You know what I mean? The way I played the sweep on him, I could do other things, but I decided to do one thing where I thought gonna work, and that thing I practiced before. So the sweep against Feitosa, Zacharias, whatever, that sweep just came because I already doing that sweep a lot at the gym. So
Hmm.
came because he gave me the time. In jiu-jitsu, you take what's available.
Yeah.
All right. Most of the times you take what's available. I was looking for a lot of different things because I was losing 2-0. So I had probably the best guy on top of me, the guy people, you even can count on your hand how many people swap him. All right. If you do
Yeah.
a podcast with him, ask him, Feitosa, how many people swap you in your whole career? And believe me, he gonna stop and think, and he's not gonna have an answer
Yeah.
because it's not so many people. Maybe you can count in one hand. All right. Maybe
Yeah.
people took him down. Maybe people, maybe people he get to hit some battle stand up. But Sweep Feitosa back then,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Maybe in the end of his career, when he
Yeah.
lost for Cabrinha, different story. But on his prime, oof,
No.
the
Yeah.
toughest thing. So that's the thing I believe, and I try to tell to all my guys. You know what I mean? So you can't really see people sometimes. Oh, this guy in my side of my bracket, this guy this guy that. So man, look, do your training, do your
Hmm.
best here. If you think that guy, you're so afraid about it, don't compete. Don't compete. But
Yeah.
you
You'll.
can have that fear or about this guy, interfere in your training. You have to do your best. You have to press things you like to do, improve things you're not too good. And then by the time you get there, by the time you start winning, by the time you feel things clicking, when he get in the final, you get in the final, you and him pretty much in the same situation. Why you want to feel so behind just because he won something and you want something different? And you know what I mean? Like, no. So I
Yeah.
think it's very important to deal with that, to talk about that, because today, because back then we didn't have so much access to internet, to see videos, to see this recording a fight. If Paquetá wasn't there, how many fights I'd love to see today? I didn't have chance
Yeah.
because I never care about recording anything.
Yeah.
Today's kids from 5 years old have their mom there, because that kid, if he become a world champion one day, he can make a movie of
Yeah.
all his 300 matches. All right, different than
Yeah.
people back then. If Paquetá wasn't there, no fights.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I believe. You know what I mean? So some things is different today.
Yeah, you made a good point there. Is you're saying, yeah, he's a world champion, but he's never fought you. So
Yeah.
he's never experienced what you bring to the table. He may not know how to deal with that. So it's something so simple, but I've never really heard before. It's an interesting perspective on that. You mentioned Leo, you mentioned Feitosa. We got to talk about, there was the group of 4 or 5 of you. Royler, you, Feitosa, Leozinho, Terere. You guys had, tremendous matches between you. You fought Royler once, and then you went on to fight Leo, Feitosa, Terere several times. Tell me a little bit about those matches. Who would you say was like, your biggest rival, and what was probably the most satisfying of wins out of all those guys? No bad feelings here, but like,
No.
you've fought those guys so many times, and it was like back and forth, and it was is historical. The matches were amazing between you guys, and it's funny because I remember seeing you fight today prior to the pro-ams, and then I was at the pro-ams and I see you guys like being friendly and stuff in the hotel. Like, I think you were chasing him or something like that, like joking around. And I didn't understand because I was so young. I was like, man, I thought these guys don't like each other. I didn't get it, but it's a different perspective. But you guys had something special there. That dynamic between the 5 of you was amazing rivalry, if you want to call it. But tell me a little bit about those matches in particular.
I think against I think let's go talk about Royler was the first one. Was
Yeah.
97 was final, and then back then I was imagining like 96. I was competing as purple, become brown, getting my black belt in the end of the year. By 97, I fought against Leo, and then got smoked, and then worked my way up, win the national per team, win something else, and then fought against Royler in the final. I think that fight definitely helped a lot. It helped a lot to learn about strategy. Royler,
Yeah.
I think I was physically, I was a little, not stronger, but I felt like, man, I have the tank. I can go 10 minutes, no problem. And then he's already, 32 years old over there. He's older than me, but, in a great shape. And
Yeah.
then Royler used great strategy. He's able to make a grip on my pants and, to really like block all my tools to try sweeping him. So the fight ended up 2-2, and then I lost by advantage. But I think he taught me a lot to see, how he taught to set up the strategy for this fight, and how he kept himself calm with the whole yell thing, the both teams really yell a lot, and how maybe I was immature, sometimes talking to the ref. You know what I mean? Like a few little things I think I learned in that fight. And then after that, after I fought against Royler, I already lost for Leo. And then that fight really hurt me a little bit because I couldn't like do nothing with Leo, and it just almost make me feel I'm not prepared to be a black belt.
Mm.
But after that, I started winning a few things, and then did a final of the world championship. But even the weight of the fight, when I lost the fight, I didn't think about, oh, today people got second place. They feel, oh man, my medal here, I'm world champion, second place. Great. Back then it wasn't like that. It wasn't like
Mm.
that. Back then, of course, be a world champion is amazing.
Yeah.
But back then, you know what I mean? Like you want to fight to win. You know what I mean? You don't you don't want to just get a second place. You don't want to
Yeah.
get third place. And so today, some people are gonna put on the resume, oh, I'm third place, I'm second place, and then it's great today, correct? Because
Yeah.
maybe it's so hard, all right. But back then, you know what I mean? Like I totally didn't think so much about that because I'm looking for just the first, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I was
Yeah.
coming from brown belt winning everything, purple belt winning everything. So when I lost that thing, you know what I mean, and I thought that's gonna help me to build myself up. And that was tough, but taught me some lessons. But when I start fighting with Feitosa and Leo, that's where everything start hit me up too, because I start learning a lot about those guys and understanding how to fight against Leo, understanding how to fight against Feitosa. Feitosa was a little bit more methodic guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Strong for his division, very tall. They didn't open so much, so I have to be the one to move a lot. I have to
I,
making sure the one I don't get caught on his 30 game.
yeah.
Leo is a little bit more creative, you know what I mean? It's very almost like a, you know what I mean? It's hard to figure out his game. So it's something like he almost, I can feel like he doesn't train to do. He
Hmm.
just do it, you know what I mean? And he do it in a speed where sometimes it's almost impossible to track. So it took me a few fights to really understand both. When I start understanding, then I start winning, here, Feitosa, lose here. Leo, I believe the fights really, I think Leo is definitely the biggest opponent in my career, maybe because we got so many closer matches, but at the same time, not so close because it was easy to decide for him. But the fight I won in 2000 was special just because the fight I finally understand how to fight against him,
Hmm.
how to control his pace, how to maintain my stability, emotional stability, to say, okay, I'm winning. How am I gonna cook the time until the end?
In the
I think
2000,
like
in the 2001, in the World's Finals in
2000,
2000.
2000.
Yeah. So in that fight in particular, sorry to cut you off. What I saw was you stopped his pace. You didn't allow him to really control the pace because Leo was known for being very athletic and acrobatic. But that match, you turned it into something different. You made it into a methodical match, and you executed that takedown, I believe, and then you were able to get to two. So talk a little bit about that match. What was the plan there? Because you mentioned that you had a good plan for the match. What was the plan for that, and how did you
the,
implement
the
it?
plan was exactly what I did it. I remember training against Fernando Boy, a friend of mine from back in the days. I remember training against different people, and I'm always looking for that Z guard. All right, putting
Mhm.
myself in half guard, cooking the time there, looking for that specific pants. Was a fight. The fight I remember, I really trained for more than a month, doing exactly what I did. Maybe the takedown change, all
Mhm.
right, but like the way I come up, the way he tried kick, so I knew he gonna kick back. I knew he gonna be doing. I knew he not gonna try flip me. I knew he gonna doing certain things with me. So I was during the whole month just training, playing a lot of bottom. Just after swapping him, what I did, I played bottom again because I knew I'm gonna have chance to control him more on the bottom because I knew he's not gonna be passing my guard. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So he's not gonna be doing a foot lock or a knee bar or
Yeah.
anything. He's just gonna be caught on my legs. So that's kind of was the first fight where I gonna play because I always have a good tank. Never in my life I lost a fight because my tank was
Yeah.
small, near the other opponent. So always very hard to me understand here from all my teammates. Man, you have a great tank. You have a great tank. You have a great tank. So at some point, I always thought I can battle tank against tank. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But Leo always brought something different to the fight. He brought that unexpected thing, hard to figure it out. I didn't have any partner training. We talk
Mhm.
about Hobson, Leo. They are great, but they never able to mimic what Leo Vieira does
Mm.
on the mat because he's so natural in certain
Yeah.
things. Of course, you know what I mean. He learned jiu-jitsu, but a lot of things there is almost like part of him.
Yeah.
So when I understand that, and then I really understand, I start thinking about, so if I don't do a plan for this guy, I'm never gonna beat him. And
Mm.
so far I was 3-0, like he win three fights, and then I zero fights against him. And then that fourth fight was the fight where I need to try beat both, like him and Feitosa the same day. So it was a very important year.
Mm-hmm.
BJ won. So it was a great year for Nova União. And then I just trained for a month doing the same thing over and over and over, and then pay off. And then I don't remember any other fight. I put so much strategy. Like sometimes I talk about, Feitosa, I like to hold the pants here to block butterfly sweep. What we do to count, and then do one or twice, and then try to do if somebody do against me. But
Yeah.
during the roll, prior to the fight, I have a lot of people in my half guard trying to pass, trying to break my half, trying to do this. I have myself pulling to half guard a lot. I have myself doing different finishes from single leg. All right, if he try flip me, if he try this, if he try that. I have different scenarios with people over there to help you to understand whatever he's gonna do. And then
Mm-hmm.
when it happens exactly about the way I train, and then I able to accomplish the 2 points, I say now it's mine. Boom. And then
Yeah.
I pull again and just play the way I have to play to win.
Yeah.
And Terere, he came a little bit after. He's younger, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then was a guy I always had a good relation, but in some point changed a little bit when we start fighting, and then he's losing because in the beginning he was a blue belt. I'm already black belt. And then in some point he always a guy enjoys seeing me fighting, but in some point we catch up.
Yeah.
And he's a black belt fighting against me, like defending alliance. And then he started getting more mature. He always very respectful, but you know, it almost lost a little bit that fun thing we used to have when he was white belt, blue belt,
Mm-hmm.
and then become a little bit more serious. You know what I mean? During the match and during the time we compete. But I think after fight we always have a good relation, always.
Yeah.
But during the match he always a little bit more serious. But Terere, I think he was there. I think he was a guy. I think the game wasn't matched so much in the beginner.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had something from seeing me competing so much before, and then that wall blocking him to beat me back then. So we got a fight a couple months ago where he able to win. Did a very good job at Polaris. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I even
Mm-hmm.
saw on his Instagram the other day. I think he said one of the fights he feel really glad to won because was a win he looking for a very long time. And then we even talked a little bit about that thing. Because no, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago. But I think it's all great opponents. And then I think against Feitosa, the relation wasn't so nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We didn't talk at all because back then the way I said it was, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Your group, my group against Leo, against Terere, always a good relation. Me and Royler, we had a good relation too. We kind of have the same manager to do
Mm-hmm.
MMA, so that's brought us close and make me make me meet some other great people too. But can't complain about my opponents. I think we all belong to that generation where making guys like you and some other people really enjoy jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and I think it was something special that you guys had, those matches, back and forth. It was part of the history books, and winning in the finals and, a lot. It's you guys were all the best of your era and your generation, and you met each other in the finals so many times, and you went back and forth. So it's one of those things that those who study jujitsu history, they're going to know about it. And they're definitely matches that I recommend anyone go back and try to find and watch. You mentioned, going into MMA and you did that for a while. And then you eventually moved to the States and, open up your school. What was it like moving to New York, opening up your gym and, you know, taking on a new path as a career, as a gym owner, as opposed to competitor? Like at what point did you realize like, you needed to kind of take that next step in your life as being a gym owner as opposed to fighter?
Yeah, I think when I was doing MMA around what, maybe almost 9 years, I had a career of almost 9 years. I believe when I hurt my eye, I think was the type of thing where whoa, I have to looking for something else. I can, because I was 28 years old when I got hurt. I definitely probably could fight it for more another 3, 4, 5 years at
Mm-hmm.
least, and then have chances to get maybe the beginning of UFC and all that glamour thing. But in some point, I think the eye injury really make me realize, hey, I can't play so much MMA anymore. So let me do a couple more fights. But it's important right now looking for something else to do. And then I didn't think
Mm-hmm.
about doing this in Brazil, all right, because my coach already doing that in Brazil. And then I think if I have to do that, I have to move to some other place.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was United States. I think was kind of like my call, and so far I was traveling to New York very often. So during the 9 years gap of jiu-jitsu, just MMA, I disconnected from a lot of people. So some people start jiu-jitsu, become world champion. I have no clue. I just met the guy a couple months ago.
Oh
You know
wow.
what I mean? Some guys was winning as a purple, as a brown. I didn't was competing or going to world championships or follow the jiu-jitsu scenario. I was following MMA scenarios and then
Mm-hmm.
spending time after my fights to learning more boxing, learning more wrestling, learning more this, learning more that, connect with managers, you know what I mean? Like spending time doing seminars after my fight. So I wasn't caring so much about what's going on in jiu-jitsu. So I didn't have almost, a lot of options, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So New York was maybe a place where I thought, okay, I have one good connection here. And then, he was the guy to bring it to the United States and, help with my visa and everything. And then some point it's just, become very natural. Like I open my own gym and then start taking a little bit more serious about that. And then when I decide to, hey, or I do this right, or I'm gonna doing so MMA so. So I decide
Yeah.
when my son is getting bigger and my wife was, you know, was realize the importance about choosing a path instead of like because MMA is like a full-time job.
Yeah.
So you can like doing MMA and running a successful gym at the same time. I think it's different when you're doing just jiu-jitsu. Even for training jiu-jitsu, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I believe is some world champion today, some guys don't have a gym. Some guys they rather living having a sponsor than own a gym and worry about all those small things. Sometimes if you have a competitor, you know what I mean, very 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 good, he probably doesn't teach a lot of classes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He probably like take advantage about his name to do certain things where it'd be very important to him, and he's gonna be probably open school when he stopped competing. So in
Mm-hmm.
some point, like my career MMA was going towards the end, so make no sense insist on something. Maybe even myself wasn't believing so much anymore. After my eye injury, I was a little concerned about getting injury again. After almost a year and a half healing, so make me a little bit afraid. I have like two kids now, wife here. So if I get hurt, when I get hurt, I was 3 months looking down when I detached my retina. So it was a big process to heal all that. Not
Mm-hmm.
heal just my eye, but mentally, see myself not doing certain things. I was 28 years old. I lost a fight, but I could fight in the 2 months. I had a good manager, so
Yeah.
but like it took me so much away from MMA.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when I did another 3 or 4 fights, I won one but lost two or three, and then my head wasn't there. And I think I see it as almost a natural path, because my gym was getting bigger, was getting more students. People start, you know, coming to learning from me, hear something from me. So I have to be more available, not travel to do, jiu-jitsu with Ricardo Almeida here or Martin Rooney there. So I have to be
Yeah.
more at the gym. And that's when I decided to really quit MMA and then stick with jiu-jitsu and then start adding more classes and start doing more this, more that. And I think it was the best decision I had because I think it gave me a chance to establish a nice group of people and learn a lot about teaching because so much, because for a little while I just worked with the higher belts in Brazil. I
Yeah.
was leading, black belts. I was leading, what I mean, MMA group people. You know what I mean? I wasn't, teaching beginners. I wasn't ready for, okay, I don't know how to do a scissor sweep. Show me here. So how we don't know how to do a scissor sweep? How we don't
Yeah.
know how to do a bump sweep? So
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
doesn't know how to do a bump sweep? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
times I taught things like that when I just came out from an elite group and now have to see
Mm-hmm.
myself in a totally different group. And then, took me a while to start understand how a beginner thinks, how a beginner make questions. Like even to me, you know what I mean, understand some questions was tough too
Yeah.
because how am I gonna answer that? So the guy training, he doesn't know this. How somebody can train without knowing that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but in some point, when your level of understanding is that high and the guy's level of understanding is that low, so it's hard, you know what I mean, to match thoughts. And
Uh-huh.
in some point, like you have to almost start thinking as a beginner, start see all the difficulties those guys have, and then to try making sure you try tracking a path for that guy follow to lead him at least to start thinking right, to making sure he can follow you, and that way develop some relation between instructor and student.
Nice. And you talked about evolving as an instructor and learning, how to teach and going through those changes. But you also made a big decision in your life recently, coming back to jiu-jitsu as a competitor. I saw you. It was a pleasure to call your match in Abu Dhabi against Kenny Florian. You got the clock choke, beautiful submission. You fought for Polaris, and even recently you went to the Europeans and fought in the IBJJF Europeans. What do you think, or how should I say this? Like, do you feel like the competing now, what's different as a competitor? Has the game changed for you as far as the guys that you're competing against, or do you feel like you kind of pick up and feel natural where you are?
For me, I think compete today is just a way to continue to having fun. I think when I started jiu-jitsu, I didn't think too much about money. My competitions today is not about money either. It's not about build a legacy or a name or anything like that. I feel blessed to be able to compete, just to having fun, to keep myself in shape, just to, in some point, if some people wants to see, hey, if that guy after doing this and doing that, he still find fire to train with some like a 25 years old, 18 years old, why I'm not? You know what I mean? Why
Yeah.
that guy have different than me? I have nothing different than anybody. It's just, in some point I feel like I want to do something more with my time and with my, about what change. Yeah, maybe the pace change. I'm not a big fan of 5 minutes. All
Okay.
right, I'm not a big fan at all. I believe 5 minutes pass too fast. I believe sometimes, one little thing can happen in the beginning of the fight. Sometimes it can be hard, all right, to pay back if you don't find the right position, the right grip, the right hook. I believe like I always like to play fast, even if today maybe I can feel slow compared with my 20 years old. I'm still thinking the way I'm thinking when I was 20. Maybe something changed on my pressure or my speed, but I'm not the one to tell this for me. I'm the
Yeah.
one to push myself up all the way to the beginning to the end of the training. You know what I mean? The best things to make me feel strong and fast and update with my game is rolling with young people. You be rolling with guys. They super maybe I'm not so updated with the jiu-jitsu. Maybe I'm not doing 50-50, so well like this guy, or maybe I'm not doing knee bar good like that guy. But you know what I mean? Like I'm rolling against people they do that, and then against people they do that well, I'm able to impose my game in the things I feel confident. And then together doing that, I'm learning how to counter this, how to even applying that move against him when he doesn't expect to get caught by the move he try on me. So for me, I think that's the way I'm start getting update with the whole jiu-jitsu things. Like having partner trainers where they apply things on me. Maybe back in the days, I didn't get caught so much. Now they trying. I think the techniques I learned back then, they still pretty much the major techniques all good competitors, all right, they
Yeah.
do like that sweep. Leandro Loa did it, does so much. Okay, the sweep they call mermaid sweep
Mermaid
today,
sweep. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
It's something, yeah, Leandro Loa does a lot, but this is such a old sweep.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And such an old sweep. He probably learned as a white or blue belt.
Yeah.
And at some point, yeah, some young guns maybe don't realize so much how those simple things they are effective. That sweep Otávio Souza does so well. He pushes instead up for a single leg.
Yep.
This is old as hell, but it's so effective. So
Yeah.
whatever is effective, whatever is working,
Yeah.
nobody gonna take him from the game. So butterfly game, that kid from Poland, what that kid's from?
Oh yeah. Wardzinski, Adam Wardzinski.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that kid is so good, so nice to watch. Such an old game, butterfly, amazing, effective for gi, no gi,
Yep.
MMA, and he's doing looks like new for some young kids, but this is old as hell. So whatever is effective,
Yeah.
all right, people gonna bring it, to the game. So I feel a lot of things, all right, people learn in the 90s, when you continue to sharp, keep your open mind to learn the tools are important today, to compete or to not get hurt or to feel update. Keep all the mind, but don't forget what you learned in the past, because
Yeah.
those things, maybe a lot of the kids training today, maybe they need to learn those kids together with the things they know,
Yeah.
just to make the game a little bit more solid and stable, certain some situations. So
Hmm.
I think that's the reason I feel when I compete, I don't feel behind anybody. I don't feel unprepared, because I train my mind, I train my condition. Okay, I feel my tools sharp, my past, even if the past I'm gonna be doing, people know. I don't care, because
Yeah.
but look, you think but the guy I'm training, the guy I'm teaching, he knows much more than you, and he keep getting caught. So this
Hmm.
is the best message someone can have when you compete. So when you have that message inside the gym, you know what
Hmm.
I mean, from people are good black belts, are good brown belts, are good purple belts, you don't need to have any other message from any other people, because the message, you know what I mean, is installed in your head when you start training at school. Message doesn't come from outside. Message comes from inside, from here to your training, to here again, and it's all circle around.
Yeah. Yeah. And you talk about a guy like Wardzinski, obviously one of the newer generation competitors. Is there anyone that kind of stands out that you enjoy watching, or from the generation today of the top black belts that you like to watch, or maybe not just enjoy watching, but look at and say, yeah, you know what, like I'm gonna try that, or anyone that kind of stands out for you in today's black belt scene?
Like a lot of the people, this thing is, I think if somebody to making me watch is because it's gonna have to have a totally different game than mine. So all those names and some other world champions, they always had things where, I saw someone doing, or I saw Murilo doing, or I saw Zé Mario doing, or I saw Libori doing. So some things I very used to. Remember,
Hmm.
I grew up in a time where Nino Chambry was, phenomenal. All right,
Yeah.
was doing things people,
Never
what I
saw.
mean, saw Nino as a purple, as a brown, like was incredible. All right, I was, what I mean, I was younger than him belt wise, and but I saw Nino do things in the open division, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm enjoying sometimes fine fights from some old people. But if you're asking me about some guy younger than me, and maybe different generation, when I was black belt, probably he was a blue or purple belt, definitely enjoy see Royler Gracie a lot.
Hmm.
All right, a lot of his fights I didn't watch because I was doing MMA back then.
Yeah.
So when I catch myself see one of his fights against Shanji, or against this guy, or against that guy, definitely like I like to stop to watch, because certain things he does, because I used to play so fast, I never did it.
Yeah.
And then I feel so impressive with how he makes some things look so easy.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, or if you like to watch Mendes, I'm not gonna lie to you. Of course, it's cool to watch those kids too,
Hmm.
you know. But probably like I'm gonna have to give it for Roger that answer, because some things Roger does is very impressed, and I know how hard it is to submit black belts from Mount. I know how
Yep.
hard it is, to escape from things that he escaped before. And I probably like I maybe don't know the answer so well, but the pressure, the amount of pressure he carried his whole life, being a Grace, fighting open division, like fighting to be the best, I think is something that's very important to see how he delivered in his fights. And definitely, I think one of the guys I enjoy, Jorge, Jacare, some guys they came a little bit after me, or I saw in the young belts, but definitely Jorge, one of those guys I didn't watch so much compete as a black belt because I was doing MMA, but feel almost very impressive when I see him fighting.
If you could go back and maybe give advice for somebody just starting jujitsu, because there's obviously we're in a different generation now. You can go on the internet, you can get information anywhere you want. But looking back how you started, and maybe looking at whether the things you did right or wrong as somebody earlier in their career, what sort of advice would you give to somebody starting jujitsu, and how to create their own game, and becoming the best they can be? Because I feel like we're in a time where you get, there's just so much info. Like I said, like, you watch, there's so many matches, there's so many instructionals. I almost feel like some of the students are a little confused, like sometimes, like I even have in my classes, kids, they want to do crazy lapel, this and leg locks and this, and that, but they don't. I ask them, like, just show me how to pass guard like 3 ways, and they're like stumped. So do you feel like there's like a path that the beginners, need to take or should take, or just, a mindset that they should approach in training to create their own game and be the best that they can be?
No, I truly believe, you know what I mean? I think I always tell to my students that, like, guys, you guys choosing to learn jiu-jitsu on the worst time ever. Because learning jiu-jitsu now is so hard because there's so much information out there. And so much information is no information. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when you start watching, a tons of videos on Instagram, on TikTok, on whatever the place you watch the videos, by the time you watch, like the other day I was watching TikTok with my daughter. We start going to all those crazy dance, po. By the time we finish, I didn't remember exactly what I saw in the first one, and we just did it for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just scroll down. So I think that's the way a lot of times beginners they feel because there's so much information. So much information is no information.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I believe today maybe learning process is different than back then. So
Mm-hmm.
in some point we have to respect sometimes some people too. So I never learned anything with TV on, cell phone by my side,
Yeah.
music on. Some people they like to learn in their way. They like to
Mm-hmm.
learning with music. They like to learning talk on the phone. They like to, what I mean, reading a book with the house, going crazy. I can respect things like that, but I believe my best advice, and I do that because when I did MMA, I was feeling like a white belt. When I was practicing wrestling, I was feeling like a white belt. And then I even have access to see different videos. But for me, like it's almost like you have to stick with your professor. You know what I mean? You have to stick with, like, if you choose a school to train, all right, you have to stick with him. You have to, come to the school, do your thing in school, hang out a little bit after class, sometimes arrive a little bit early, but like giving him some credit, you know what I mean? Giving him
Mm-hmm.
some time to make you get in love with jiu-jitsu, to make you understand how he thinks, to teach you how you should be thinking to be taking right now your next few months or few years, to taking the defeats, to taking the wins, to taking the injuries, to taking the bad days when somebody passed away or when somebody, need to teach you how to apply the jiu-jitsu. The jiu-jitsu people always talk about it. I use jiu-jitsu for my life. I use jiu-jitsu for
Mm-hmm.
days. Jiu-jitsu is like a chess days. Jiu-jitsu is like you have no clue, all right, how to apply those words in those sentences if you not give a chance for a professor to teach you and show you the path. So that's the reason I think my best advice, and believe me, some legit people we have today, some young kids, all right, you have to, I follow today. We have one kid, he's from, I think he's from Gordo, right? He's a young kid. I think he just got his brown belt.
Okay.
Eduardo Roque.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know if you
Yeah.
know him.
Yeah. 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 I've heard of
Yeah,
them.
very
Yeah.
good kid. You see his game, very official, very solid. But it's a kid, probably grew up under Gordo's wings. You know what I mean? Some other instructors from Gordo, and you see, how the kid looks like a very grounded. You know what I mean? Very like a, very tough about his jiu-jitsu, but at the same time, very respectful kid, very polite kid. You know what I mean? So I think it's not hard to be a kid, and the kid will win everything.
Yeah.
He's winning everything, and he win everything. Maybe he does some things fancy. Maybe he does some things very, very, very legit. But doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I think I feel that kid is solid. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Because to be good today, you have to be solid first. You have to develop your word, to develop your thoughts, to develop people look into your eyes, shaking your hands, and then feel, man, I'm talking to a man here. I have a solid partner training. So things like that have to be handled even earlier than you become good in jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So some lessons you have to learn until somebody teach you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I learned jiu-jitsu, and it wasn't wrong learning jiu-jitsu that way. And I believe it's not wrong learning jiu-jitsu that way today. You
Yeah.
can definitely follow some videos, you can definitely follow some instructors, but you're gonna have time for that. You
Yeah.
don't think when I was learning wrestling, I was looking for Romero. I was looking for that Russia guy, you know what I mean, to show me how to do this. But I had some understand a little bit, even to looking for a video where, Antoine told me, looking for this guy, check
Mm-hmm.
this guy out. Let's go see who's done Gable. Let's go buy that book. You know what I mean? So I have, reference to even looking for the right people,
Mm-hmm.
not just me searching and say, okay, let's escape from out. Escape from out to learn in the gym.
Yeah.
Why are you
Yeah.
gonna see, those people 300 escape from mountain under 3 minutes? Man, why are you gonna be doing that? Certain things you just don't need to get into that room. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So let your coach show you the path, because most of the people successful today. Let's go talk about men. Talk about some people. They have the coach to show in the
Yeah.
path, to
Yeah.
give in the room, to develop the creativity, to develop like what they need to know, you know what I mean, to succeed in life. So now
Eh,
kids doing really well, very
yeah.
polite kids, very reserved kids, building the family, building like a huge gym. So good for them. Good for
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? But the thing is, some people, it's hard to be another Mendes, man. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It's hard to be another Margarida. It's hard to be another Fábio Gurgel. You have to try become your own best person. Now
Yeah.
become a second Mendes. You know what I mean? So today you
Yeah.
see almost like a people doing the same diet, the same workout. You know what I mean? So it's nice when you playing together different workout. You're gonna see your body gonna get built a little bit different than this guy. So sometimes a girl or a guy, they all have the same type of body because they all have the same type of thing. So back then, you know what I mean? They thinking about what movement to do this muscle. So that's what jiu-jitsu used to have back then, where people brainstorm,
Mm-hmm.
lock themselves in the gym, stay there for a few hours, because that's the best they can do. So today they have to go to social media, see how many likes, posting this, post that, spend more time to learn that shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Enjoy that, because that's all about it. Because if you enjoy, you're gonna develop. If you develop, people are gonna find out. If people
Yeah.
find out, they're gonna spread. That's the
Yeah.
way it works.
You kind of hit the nail on the head, and I think maybe with God willing, after this coronavirus is done, maybe students are going to appreciate the time and value the time that they have in the actual gym as opposed to, online training or trying to look on social media and stuff. And I think what I'm getting from you as well too is, having the trust in your instructor and having the full trust, it's easy to look at Hoffa and try to emulate, something that you see him rolling with, but is it easy to be Hoffa starting at 6 years old, training 3 times a day, for how many years before black belt, listening to every single word that Hamon and Leo Santos would say to him back in the day? That's not easy thing to do. And I think now the generation wants the quick shortcut. They
Yeah,
want to
why
see.
you think, why are you gonna go so
Yeah.
hard if you just need to copy Rafa and then they're gonna be good too? But it's the
Yeah.
thing, it's so many lessons, he
Yeah.
never gonna show on his
Yeah.
online program. It's so
Yeah.
many conversations, so many thoughts, so many unsure things in his head, and
Yeah.
helping him to build the guy. He's today. He is today. So same thing with Robson Moura, same thing
Yep.
with Nino, same thing with Feitosa, Leozinho. So it's not gonna be, you can see everything. You
Mm-hmm.
have to go through certain things to be able to build the person you want to be. If you're not going through through certain things, you're always gonna feel lack of something, and you always feel, if I read that book, I'm gonna learn. I saw that video, I'm gonna learn. The way the guy talks with that incredible accent, I'm gonna learn. Please, please, we don't need that.
Yeah.
All right, you
Yeah.
don't need that. You need to, because everybody wants to sell your formula, correct? Everybody
Yeah.
wants to sell your method, your sell your systematic, way to learn. Is
Yeah.
more simple than people think. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I believe we have a lot of cases, world champions or even not world champions, because we have cases of people very successful too in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
But people sometimes they rather get caught on that beautiful accent, on
Yeah.
that beautiful, this or that. And then
Yeah.
sometimes, man, he really did this to become good in jiu-jitsu, or he was there training, learning, and getting like overwhelming, and then feeling like you know what I mean, helpless, and then that's the way he learned jiu-jitsu. Tell the
Mhm.
truth for people,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right? And the truth is done on the mass. One thing Saulo said is so special. Hopefully, it was him, because for me, I carry that thing my whole life. You know, jiu-jitsu don't lie,
Yeah. The mats don't
right?
lie.
Jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
don't lie. It don't lie. And you don't have to test yourself or check yourself in competition to see if you're gonna lie or not. Like
Hmm.
they insecure about rolling somebody,
Hmm.
insecure to be tired and not accepting their role, insecure to go to the mat because you think you're gonna get hurt against this guy. All that thing, is about your jiu-jitsu, because
Yeah.
you lying to yourself. You think you're gonna be beating this guy just when he's tired. You lie, you lying so many times. Instead, go over there. I'm tired. That's the way I want to see if my jiu-jitsu is good.
Yeah.
All right, that guy hurts everybody. I'm gonna put him in my guard. Let's go see what he's gonna do. All
Hmm.
right, that guy just tapped me. Let me roll against him, three in a row to see now he getting tired, and then I tap him instead, running away from him or not going to the class he goes. What he said is so priceless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then until you learn that jujitsu, in my view, you don't know really jujitsu.
Yeah. You know what? I appreciate what you're saying here because you're being real, and everything you're saying, I know it's, it's coming from the heart and it's being honest. And I love that. I love to hear this kind of talk. I did have one question for you, and it was probably be my last one because I know we're running out of time. But, a friend of mine asked me and wanted to ask you about this, but you recently started training with the Valente brothers in Florida, doing a little bit of self-defense stuff. So, what brought you back to that kind of aspect of jujitsu, the self-defense? Was it something personal? Was it something that you want to learn for, to instill in your students? Where are you going with that? What's the purpose with that?
Yeah, I think the real thing is, back then we had Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I have classes with the dare, more sport, jiu-jitsu. And then Tuesday and Thursday we have self-defense and taparia. Used to be
Mm,
kind of a little MMA thing where you
yeah.
you learning how to apply jiu-jitsu without the gi.
Like
And then,
open
but
hand slaps and stuff like
open
that.
hand
Yeah.
slap, things like that. And then, the reason where, there I learned a lot of things. But in some point, when the jiu-jitsu start growing, I focused myself a lot in the
This
sport, and then I
part, yeah.
forgot everything. I
Hmm.
think like just getting at that, getting close to the Valente just gave me chance to learning jiu-jitsu, to learning components of jiu-jitsu, because the idea about jiu-jitsu, I don't want to be just good in grappling. I want to be good in, like, if I need to clinch and strike on somebody. I
Hmm.
want to be knowing good takedowns. I want to know the philosophy behind jiu-jitsu. What's going to make you train jiu-jitsu and keep your body, in check, and your mind in check for the next
Yeah.
20 and 30 years. I wanna know all those components just to making sure, in the self-defense component, because you know what I mean? It's not just a sporting where you put your
Yeah.
butt there and do a spider guard. All right.
Yeah.
I know how to take down people. I know how to do a punch.
Yeah.
If I ever to protect myself, all right, I know how to do that. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if I did MMA and I do this punch or that wrestling move. In some situations, you want to try use the amount of violence you need to use
Hmm.
to dominate or to control somebody. And not only that, I have a lot of students. They're not thinking about competition. They're
Yeah.
not thinking about, you know what I mean, like going there and face a competition. But they can be attacked in the subway. They can be in a situation, the struggle where they're gonna need not just being shaped. They're gonna need a little bit more because nobody's gonna be there to save them. So I hope never any of my students need to use anything, but just in putting myself in my position where I can really teach things for people, where people they really have chance to carry for the rest. Some moves you're gonna learn in self-defense, you're never gonna forget.
Hmm.
Different than some moves in sport jiu-jitsu. If you're not practice every day, you're gonna get stiff.
Yeah.
So my real goal is connect with the best guys on the field, like Valentes,
Hmm.
and then to reteach me, things I learned in the past, and then the didactic that those guys have to try pass to my guys to making my guys, a better jiu-jitsu player. And then whatever you decide to go, all right, you're gonna feel prepared. You're gonna go more to sport, great. You're gonna feel more going to teaching people, okay. So we're gonna have those 2 3 paths to try to follow, but You're not gonna be a guy just put your butt down. You're gonna
Yeah.
know how to take down, what's affect the takedown. Somebody attack you from behind, somebody do this, somebody do that. So I think like I really prepare myself as a better instructor because I have a lot of women, I have kids, I have like a people maybe they don't need, all right, certain things. They don't need right now the clock choker. They don't need right now certain submissions or sweeps right now, but they need maybe a
Hmm.
better way to understand jiu-jitsu, and nothing better than showing, what jiu-jitsu was back then, and then
Hmm.
slowly start understand the progression until taking them to the ground and understand this, understand that, become a little bit easier than to show. And I believe it's not, this is not just me. You go talk to everybody, Brian,
Yeah.
Marcelo, Lucas, whatever the person you say, ask them how easy it is to talking to not a wrestler, not a judo guy,
No, just
not a
the
guy
average.
did it like a grappling with his friend in the garage, but the guy never trained before, start
Yeah.
50 years old. How the easiest way to start that guy at the gym? You have a gym, you know that.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
you have to start with such a moves where the guy can feel, you know what I mean, a scenario. Okay, I can see myself in that scenario. Okay, oh, that's the way you're using the top, the mount. That's the way you use the reverse, the sweep. Oh, that's the way we control.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's control we do here. Without
Making
the gear,
them
but with gears like that.
making them feel, familiar with the situation without
Of
even knowing
course.
what's going on. It's one thing to sit there and start a brand new person and reverse De La Hiva. But if you show them, how to escape mount or how to escape somebody grabbing you from behind, or even a takedown is
Of
something
course.
basic like that, I think that it goes a long way, and I think they'll appreciate it, so much more. Shaolin, it's been just over an hour, man. It was such a good time catching up with
Thank you,
you,
Ricardo.
man. This was perfect. I got a
Thank
lot
you.
out of this,
Hope you
and
enjoy. Hope you guys enjoy too. I'm here for you.
yeah.
Anything you need, so please let me know.
So I want to do something. Just tell me where can people follow you, or if they want to train with you. Give us your website information or where
Yeah,
you are.
bjjnewyorkcity.com.
Okay.
All right, and then they can. I have another school in Jersey too. All right, they can follow me on that school in Jersey. My Instagram is Vitor Shaolin, nice and easy, and they can
Yeah.
see most of the information over there.
Okay, great. And I'll be in touch again. I want to actually, maybe work with you, and maybe we could do some breakdowns of stuff. Some of your older matches, or
For
even some of your
sure,
recent ones. I'd like to go through that, with you and getting some technical feedback. I love to
for
do that sort
sure.
of stuff. All right, guys, this has been a treat for me. I hope it was for you. I learned a lot from the man. I got to pick and ask all these geek questions that I've been thinking about for many, many years, because I've been a fan of the man for a long time. Shaolin, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
time.
God. Thank you, man. Thank you, and good luck. All right, in the new podcast. Hopefully,
Yes.
you really do well.
Thank you, brother. And guys, stay tuned for episode 8 coming soon with Rodrigo Comprito Maderos. It should be up and by middle of next week. So stay tuned, guys. Once again, thank you, Shaolin. I'll see you
Thank you.
next time.
Thank you.